Aniki Nikki 始まるよ。
Hello, welcome to the first episode of Aniki Nikki. I'm your Aniki, Pato. We're going to be covering a large range of topics in this podcast, from anime, manga, and games to traditional Japanese culture, what it's like to live in Japan, and neat stuff that you don't usually see or hear when people talk about Japan. A little background info on myself. I moved to Japan about 6 years ago and continue to live here with my wife and child. I started watching anime when I was around 7 and have been hooked ever since. I love talking about what makes anime good or bad and stuff like that, and I wanted to share my thoughts with more people. And here we are. So today I'll be joined by two guests. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Flora. I'm a big weeaboo. I like to cosplay, and I like to rant about anime, but my husband doesn't understand me, so I like to rant about other people if possible, so I guess I'll rant it here then.
There you go. See, I like to rant about anime, but my wife doesn't care either, so there we go. And our other guest?
Hey, I'm Sam. I'm a old school otaku guy.
Yeah.
I like old. I've been around for a while, and I don't get these kids nowadays with their newfangled stuff.
I feel you there, buddy. All right, great. So, thank you for coming. So, our first topic, we're going to play it pretty safe and do a kind of wrap up of 2017 anime. What I consider 2017 anime is anything that is on a chart with 2017 in the title on myanimelist.com. So let's get started. Each of us are going to share our top 3 anime of 2017 and maybe one we didn't like. If someone else picks your pick, you can keep it or you can pick a new one. We're all here to have fun. So, we decided the order. First, Sam is going to tell us his 3 picks. So, go ahead, Sam.
Alright, so my picks will be, one will be Little Witch Academia.
Oh,
Very nice.
Good choice.
My number 2 will be Akiba's Trip the Animation.
Oh,
Of course you chose that
excellent.
one.
And then my third, I guess, would be probably Hajimete no Gyaru.
Oh, wow. I didn't expect that one, but I loved that one so much. It's so terrible, but I love
I've
it.
never heard of that one. Is there English is
Oh,
there an English
well,
name for it or something?
It's like My First Girlfriend is a Gal or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah. So, Sam, why don't you explain your picks a little bit? I'm really interested
Okay.
in your reasoning.
So, alright, so Little Witch Academia, I mean, it's basically comes down to one word. Trigger.
Yep.
Trigger
Yep.
is the best.
It's true.
They're basically all the people who worked at Gainax who made Gurren Lagann. We're like, we're just gonna go make our own studio, and everything they make is pretty great. And
It's true. I mean, I can't argue with your pick solely based on that.
So, I mean, that show was pretty great, though, also. The characters were adorable. And they had cool adventures. And
I mean, what more could you really ask for, right?
yeah. And I like that. I don't even know. Oh, I don't know her name, but the woman who's like in all the Trigger anime, she's Susie in that, and she's the band lady Nonon in Kill la Kill. She's great. She's got that weird like nasally voice.
Doesn't she do like Kagura or something too from Gintama? Or am I thinking of
Maybe.
someone else?
I'm not sure. I never really watched the anime for Gintama. I'm not sure.
Oh, all right. Well,
Yeah.
that's a bummer. I'm so sad about that because the anime is pretty good in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm still watching. I'm like near the very beginning of it. I don't use Netflix very often, so it's kind of hard for me to sit down and watch it. I guess, I gotta watch it in other ways.
Michio Murase, thank you, Paul. Secret background, Paul.
Nice, thanks.
She's good. I like her.
Yeah. And Ursula Sensei was super cool in that show.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
how about your other ones?
Okay, so Akiba.
I don't have a lot. I didn't actually see very much of Little Witch Academia. I'm sorry. I know
okay.
like a little bit about it. I see the meme faces everywhere. My friend Jordan loves to use the line sticker set, so I feel like I know it, but
I see.
Can't really comment too much on it, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's like also it's crazy because like that got on Netflix really fast, like in America.
Yeah.
Like I remember I was like I just finished watching it and they're like, oh, by the way, it's on Netflix. And I'm like, what? All right.
Was that one of those that was like free, where it was originally just like someone's YouTube anime thing that it got picked up by an actual studio? Or was it a full-on original Trigger thing?
I think from what I understand, they were like videos that Trigger made to be like, hey, we're our own cool little studio. And then they were like, what if we made a TV show about this? Like years later, they're like, what if we actually made that a show?
I think they crowdfunded it. It originally came out as 2 movies essentially before, and then they got crowdfunded, and then this whole anime came out. So it's essentially fans wanted this, so they paid for this.
I see. So I mean, I was just remembering that like free was like, wouldn't it be cool if there was a swimming anime with lots of cute boys? And then some studio was like,
of course.
Why don't we actually make that? And it was awesome.
It was beautiful.
Amazing.
I loved it.
We'll talk about male friendship. There's gonna be a whole episode on the beauties of male friendship at one point, and how Japan is crushing the patriarchy. All right, so sorry, Sam, we kind of segued there, but go ahead and
That's
why don't
okay.
you tell us about your second pick?
All right, so Akiba's Trip the animation. I kind of started watching on a lark. I wasn't really looking. I just sort of watched it. I was like, whatever, we'll watch it. But it was great. First off, it has I should mention, it has nothing to do with the game that it's based on.
Oh.
It's the same.
Well, that's an interesting choice.
Wait, what was the objection? What was the point of the game, though? Is it just to expose girls? I actually didn't quite get the game.
So in the game, there's so the show has the same basic premise as the game, but it's not the same plot. There's all different characters, and it's a whole different story. So the premise of the game is there's an evil organization that's turning people into otaku vampires. They're vampires that feed on otaku-ness, and
I'll be the strongest vampire.
And then so to beat them, you have to take off their clothes because you have to expose their skin to enough of their skin to the sun. And so that's how you beat them. But there's
of course.
But there's it's not just girl vampires. There's lots of guy vampires too. So that's a thing. They also have a weird name. They're synesthesters or something. It's weird. Yeah. So anyway.
So how does that differ from the anime then?
So in the anime, it's sort of the same basic plot. There's kind of otaku vampires, but the best thing about the anime is basically every episode is just them parodying some aspect of otaku culture.
Oh, okay.
And it's pretty hilarious. There's some great episodes. There's a whole episode about trading card games. And
it's amazing.
And it's a whole parody.
I want to watch this.
It's a whole parody of the anime that go with those trading card games. So there's a whole sequence where they're playing a trading card game, and it is playing out like an anime, like Yu-Gi-Oh or something.
That's hilarious.
But then the camera pulls back and shows what's actually happening. them actually playing, and everyone is like, what are they doing? And they're like, why are they surprised at what the cards do? Because it says what they do on the cards.
That sounds amazing.
Is it a
Yeah,
short
so-
series?
I mean, it was like 13 episodes, something like that, 12
That's
maybe.
not bad.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
yeah, it was a lot funnier than I was expecting it to be.
Okay, good.
And like it had like nothing to do with the game, but it was like ridiculous enough that I was like, all right, I'm okay with this. It's like I wasn't that invested in the game to begin with that I really cared, but it was like it was funny enough that I was like, all right, I'm fine with this.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. You sold me. I want to go watch the anime now. So
Nice.
there you go.
I'll probably give it a try.
So how about what was your third pick? Remind me.
Hajimete no Gyaru.
Oh, yes. All right. Now here's one I can talk about because did I watch this show? Yes, I did. Why don't you tell
Nice.
us why you liked it first? I have somewhat of an idea, but
Well, I mean, it's a pretty good show. I mean, so I guess if people don't know, it's about a guy who is sick of being a virgin, and his friends want him to hit up this Yaru because they think she looks like she'd be pretty easy, but then she's like, "You're a creep. I'm not gonna sleep with you." But then she's like, "But I guess maybe we can go on a date or something." And then they start a relationship, and it was a pretty fun show. It's very fan servicey, but I'm okay with that personally.
me too.
I know a lot of people freak out on the internets about that, but
I think it's for me, I went into that show knowing what I was going to get, right? So in that sense, I think it's fine. Something where I wasn't fine with it was, for example, the end of Gamers, where for some reason they went to a hot
Don't
spring
spoil
and they
me, I
had
wanna
all
watch
of their
that.
discussion. There's no
Okay,
it's not
okay.
spoilers. It's just they had they had this really great discussion about video games, but for some reason they were all naked in a hot spring. That was completely unnecessary, and there was no reason to do it besides like, oh, let's do this. Or
see.
like, I didn't think my net game wife was a girl. Hilarious anime.
Oh yeah, I do
by
want
the
to
way.
watch that too.
That one's great too. But they have all this thing where they're like supposed to be in the game world, and they're just like taking close-up shots of boobs. But like, why? Well, okay.
Oh, I mean, they all have big boobs. But I'm just looking at the pictures.
Yeah, well they do,
That's
but
okay.
I mean, it's like they're game avatars.
Oh.
They're like talking, and they don't even like show the face. They're just like it's like a frame of boob. So that kind of was a bummer. But like Hajimete no Gyaru, I was like, okay. I mean, I know what yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. So
Yeah, and
it was a kind of touching story, right?
yeah,
Like,
I know, right?
It wasn't all just like let's be pervy or whatever, but like
Yeah, everyone was super cool.
yeah.
And there was a lot of
There
cool
was-
characters. Even the characters who were kind of weird at first ended up being cool. I
I
don't want
really
to spoil
hated his friend,
anything,
though.
but
I really hated his friend.
the
His,
glasses one
Yeah, the
or the
or no the other
heavy
one, the fat
one?
one, the pedo one.
oh okay yeah
I
he
I was emailing my friend, like live tweeting him through email every time I was watching that. I was like, God, I hate this guy. God, I hate this guy so much. I hate this guy so much. He's ruining this show for me. And I continued to watch it anyway because
gotcha. Yeah,
that's how I am. So
I don't. Yeah, could have went either way. The glasses guy gets a little rapey at times.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh god.
yeah,
He's a little
that
weird.
was- It's an interesting show,
But I like when the
definitely not one I'd recommend for people new to the anime. But
No. I do like
I think it-
when the main guy like actively like undermines the glasses guy's plans.
Oh yeah,
That was pretty great.
their whole like Osama game
Yeah,
thing
yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
pretty great as well. That was good.
And
I mean,
I
it
liked
was a good show.
I liked I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but I'll just say I liked the way it ended. I thought it was a good
Yeah, I
little
think so, too.
conclusion. It was nice. It was like, oh, that's cool. Made me feel good inside.
Yeah. I mean, and the lead girl in that has some very strong waifu of the year material as well.
Mm.
I mean, it's
I
hard not
gotcha.
to like her.
Is she anything like that, Galko-chan? Like,
I mean, you could draw some similarities. Like she's
I never have a reference. I'm just asking because I watched a little bit of that and I really like that series.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm just trying to put my thoughts together. Yeah, you could definitely say that because like they're both designed to kind of counter the stereotype of what a gyaru is. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, just because they dress this way doesn't mean that they're easy and like all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. I mean, their personalities are very, very different, but like,
Yeah.
I definitely
Galco's a
think
bit.
that's a
Yeah.
fair comparison.
Galco's like a bit more hard on the. She's not what you'd expect. Like.
Yeah.
I kind of like that stuff.
Don't
Surprised me a little
don't
bit.
judge a book by its cover kind of thing is
Yeah.
like that's like the whole point of Galco.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
Hajimete no Gyaru isn't so much about that. Like she's not like she has points to a personality that is not what you would associate with a Gyaru, but she's not as hard with the whole I'm the opposite of a Gyaru like Galco is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Galco's thing is like she just copies her sister's
Yeah.
fashion, but she's a regular girl.
Okay.
Where at least the girl in Hajime no Gyaru is actually a gyaru. So.
Got it.
Yeah. But that's also kind of like the whole point of Galco is like
Right.
but like not even just with Galco, but like all like a lot of the characters is sort of like they look like one thing, but then it turns out like when you get to know them, they're actually not what you'd expect. It's kind of like the theme of that.
I like what I
manga.
saw so far. I mean, I liked it because they talked about periods, and I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, oh my god, they're talking about women's stuff.
That does happen, yes. Yep.
I can relate to that. Yeah.
I was legit thinking, I was like, wonder if anime characters have periods.
Hmm.
There you
I'm
go.
sorry.
Question answered.
They I
Quote
remember
of the episode. I wonder if anime girls have periods.
I remember when that came up in the Slayers, and then it
yeah.
came up once and never came up ever again.
You're right.
And I thought
you're
it was
right.
weird because in Slayer's world, when girls have their periods, they can't cast magic spells.
What?
So I felt like that would come up more often. But no, only the one
Yeah, that was a
time.
pretty good plot point to revisit at some point in a serious battle or something. But
Yeah.
I guess they pulled a little Akira Toriyama and forgot about what they wrote. So,
Yeah.
oh, what? There was something in between Super Saiyan 1 and 3? Whoops. Forgot about that. All right, anyway. So, Flora.
I'm sorry, real quick
Alright, my turn?
thing.
Go
I
ahead.
just have
Sorry,
to say, now that you bring up Super Saiyan 2, I just love how people try to like say that there's a difference between Super Saiyan 1 and 2 appearance-wise, but there really isn't.
Is that the one where they lose their eyebrows?
No.
No, that's Super Saiyan 3.
God.
I mean, he doesn't. I don't think he really loses his eyebrows, but it definitely looks like that.
Oh, his eyebrows definitely
Super
are not
Saiyan-
visible anymore.
Yeah.
I've been in their face.
The entire difference between Super Saiyan 1 and 2 is like in Super Saiyan 1 there's like a fleck of hair that falls down on his face, and then in 2 it doesn't fall down. And
Yeah.
in the anime his hair is a little bit whiter.
Yeah,
And that's about it.
and it's like not
But
not
if
even
you-
consistent. Like most of the stuff that they point to is like, I think that's just an animation error, guys. I don't think that's a real thing. Like the only time
I
anyone
agree.
looked different was when Gohan went Super Saiyan 2 the first time,
Yeah,
and his
yeah.
hair went up
But
spikier.
after that, it's like
But no one
not even
else.
a thing because he cut his hair.
Yeah. So I don't know. And then people are like, oh, when you go Super Saiyan, your hair gets spiky. And it's like, well, if you're certain characters, it does. Because when Gohan went Super Saiyan 1 originally, his hair stayed exactly the same except it turned gold.
Yeah, that's true.
He did. In the room of time and spirit.
Yeah. Yep. Or
That
as
was a good time.
yeah, us Westerners had to call it the hyperbolic time chamber.
It sounded cooler.
Which, I mean, after you learn what hyperbolic means, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
It fits.
But as a child, it definitely seems like a made-up word. That's, like, supposed to be cool.
It's just one of those weird dub-ism things.
Yeah.
Like Frieza's...
I definitely,
Frieza's
in high school math or whatever, when I was like, oh, I'm learning about this, and they're like, oh, hyperbolic, and I was like, the hyperbolic time chamber, and no one else thought it was funny. So.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I have to stop. I have to stop though, because otherwise I will just talk about Dragon Ball all day.
I could tell.
All right, well, let me tell you what. You and I will have a Dragon Ball episode.
Okay.
And Steve would chime in on that. Steve loves that shit.
All right, Steve.
He's not.
If you're out there,
He doesn't.
you'll be here.
I don't think he cares.
All right, Flora. I would love to hear your picks.
Okay.
I imagine they're similar to mine.
My first love was Dragon Maid. I'm assuming that aired last year, because I'm thinking it aired last year.
It did. January 4th.
I actually watched it not knowing it was KyoAni, so when I watched it, I was like, oh my god, and like, they're so cute, and I was like, Toru's amazing, so I literally just, I threw an outfit, and I made her outfit because I loved her so much, and like, her tail was so much fun to make, but like, this series is just so heartwarming, endearing, and like Kana. I think everyone loves Kana. I was like, oh my god, everyone's loving Dragon Maid. I watched it first. No, I didn't. And like, I just loved it. And like, after I was watching all these YouTube videos about it, just saying how it's all about like family, and I was like, oh, I didn't really think about that. And I didn't pick up the whole. People are saying like, oh, like Toru is loving Miss Kobayashi. I was like, I didn't really pick up on that, to be honest, because I'm so oblivious. I'm like, I have a yaoi mindset, so I don't think about the girls thing, but I appreciate it, and I love the character development of the series, and the art is cute, the animation is fantastic, the action scenes are I just love the whole series. It just made me so happy. After Yuri on Ice, Yuri on Ice, I needed something happy, so Dragon Maid kind of filled into gaps after the fact.
I definitely share that sentiment.
Yeah,
Dragon Maid made me really, really happy all the time.
Oh yeah, and I just like the way they portray. I just like the fact they portrayed adults, because you always watch anime about high schoolers, but Dragon Maid has a working adult, and I really appreciated that so much, and I just fucking love the series. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and she like, even like, she's like the classic Japanese salaryman type worker, working really late.
Yep.
Being tired and kind of hating life all the time.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even know I didn't know Miss Kobayashi I didn't really put two together. I saw as a girl, I was like, oh, this is refreshing, because you always see harems and all that stuff. So I was like, this series was refreshing in so many ways. Like, there's a main girl and a harem of dragon girls, and it's just an adult. It was really refreshing to me, because I watch a lot of shit anime, and this was fantastic. It just made me so happy, and I enjoyed every single episode. Every time it aired, I just kept watching it. I just couldn't stop watching it. And when it was over, I was like really sad, but I was like, it's okay, it's fine. I just, it did its work. It did its thing. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm definitely waiting for the second and third and fourth seasons of Dragon Maid. So
is there actually more coming out?
I hope so. I don't know. I mean, it was so super popular. It seems like it would be silly to not request more.
Yeah. I was watching YouTube videos, and then talking about the difference between the manga and the anime and all this stuff, like how the anime took more of a family direction, because KyoAni is all about like, family and all this other stuff. So I was like, okay, I can see some differences. Like, the dad didn't fight Toru in that magical world like you see in the anime, but I think KyoAni did a really good job with all that. It just made everything nice and wrapped it up nicely for us. And I just love it.
I think so. Yeah, no, that's a great pick. Sam, did you watch Kobayashi-san no Maid Dragon?
Unfortunately, I did not. I wanted to.
You need to get on it, man. I mean, like, they got the D's for dragon, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Trevor actually says that in the series, and I was like, oh god fucking damn it.
All right. I see.
And I mean, it's got everything, right? It's got family values.
Mm-hmm.
It's got gags.
It's hilarious.
It's got some drama in there. It's got
It does.
Yes, it does.
Kana is pretty adorable. Like, I was like,
She
wow,
is.
she just captured my heart, and so did she caught everyone else's heart apparently.
I mean, she was so adorable that they completely copied her in Slow Start. So I don't know if anyone else
No,
watched
I
Slow
haven't.
Start.
I just
but
know that
No.
there's a girl that's literally Kana, but she's human.
that's hilarious. But Kana is
Nice.
Kana, and she can plug into a wall. She has a tail that plugs into a wall. I was like, oh my god, that is adorable.
Nice. So what's your second pick gonna be? Then? That's a strong start.
Let's see, Hoseki no Kuni, Land of the Illustrious. It's an all CG anime. I forgot what studio did it, but like, I kind of was like, skeptical, but then like I was watching a lot of YouTube reviewers just saying Hoseki no Kuni is one of the better CG animes. Like, because CG in anime is kind of like, there's not a good history of it. So, but I heard Hoseki no Kuni was really good, so I decided to give it a try. It blew me away because I don't pay attention to like CG is like, but this one, the series, the character designs and all that stuff, it blew me away. I can't really spoil too much about it, but I like because they're essentially gems. They're all crystals and whatever they are, and you can see animations and breaking, and I like that aspect of it. And the action scenes are fantastic, and like Diamond, her hair like literally sparkles, and I was like, wow, she is adorable, and I love the way they did it because you can't do that in animation, and like the main character, she goes through so many changes. I can't spoil that, but like she goes through so many changes, and I thought that was like they packed a lot in that 12, 13 episode thing, and I want to see more of it, but the manga needs to catch up.
I see.
I'm guessing none of you guys watch the series.
Unfortunately, yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. I also am not really a big person on CG type anime, so
I think you should give it a try because I consider it an exception to the whole thing. Like the studio who did that series, they did a lot of CG for other things, but decided to do their own set, and all the character models are like pretty much the same, so that's why they were able to kind of execute the series. But I think you should definitely give it a try. It's different. I mean, it's better than Kimono Friends or whatever, I mean, in terms of animation, but I think you should definitely give it a try.
We're gonna make a lot of people angry with that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think
really
it's cute. I mean, but I think Hoseki no Kuni, I think you should give it a try. It might change your perception of how you think of anime. I mean, I could get some facts wrong here and there, but this is just me just watching and like trying to take it all in. I decided to give it a chance because a lot of people gave it a different, like a lot of people recommended it. I was like, okay, I have to give this a chance, And the opening animation is done by someone else, so the opening animation is fantastic. I love the music. It's just fantastic. It just makes you think, and it just blew me away. And I can't get anyone else to watch it because they don't want to watch CG. I'm like, but you gotta watch it. You don't understand my love for this series.
Well, I'll definitely give it a try.
Yeah, just
Sam, you didn't watch it either, right?
No, I did not. I've heard of it mostly because everyone's like, "Oh, Japan is doing their own Steven Universe now."
yeah, a lot of people
all
did
right,
say that.
all right.
I mean, it's the characters themselves. They look female, but then they're going for more androgynous look because they're rocks, essentially, And
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
about the whole romance thing, but I don't know. I love it so much.
What
Rock on rock action.
what romance thing? What do you mean?
No,
Sorry.
like Steven Universe has like more of that stuff. I think I didn't actually watch Steven Universe. I just know people ship things in Steven Universe and all that. stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't
Gotcha.
think Hoseki no Kuni has those characteristics, but I'm not in that fandom, so I don't really know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I definitely added one to my list now.
Yes.
How about your third pick?
I finished this one recently, Made in Abyss. It's fucking fantastic. It's just this is also one of the series that people highly recommended, and I had to give it a watch, and I couldn't stop watching it. Made in Abyss is just fantastic. It's like almost like a video game in a way, but then you're just watching through these characters, and you're just cheering them on. I don't want to go on spoil too much, but essentially they live in this area surrounding this big hole to the ground, and it's called the Abyss, and people travel down there. You have to really like, what do you call it? I guess you have to climb up the ranks or whatever to be able to go down there. Because when you go down, but if you go back up, you actually get affected by the curse of the abyss. So, and there are people who go down there gradually and come back gradually. There's a lot of things that go into that, but like, there's so many different worlds. The animation's fantastic. The characters are lovable, and there's it's so mysterious, and I can't spoil, but like I was crying a lot towards the end. Let's just say that. I cried so much. I love crying. I love series that make me cry. As you, like Dragon Maid made me cry happily. Hoseki no Kuni, I cried a little. And Maid of Abyss, I cried a lot. I love crying. I highly recommend it. It's just so fantastic. And the animation, like I said, the animation is fantastic. I'm sorry, I'm just ranting here. I just love the series.
No, I mean that's why you're
I'm trying
here.
to get Steve to watch it. Steve doesn't listen
like.
to me ever. He's just like, he's such a bitch. I swear to God, he doesn't understand good anime. I just love to rant about it. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. Well, all right. So I've got 2 more shows on my list now.
So what about you?
Well, for me, I had a lot of shows. I think 2017 was an amazing year for anime. Every season, I was like, there's no way that this season could be better than the last. And then there would be like 4 shows, or I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing I've ever watched. There was a lot of trash there too,
of course.
Both the good kind and the bad kind. But so I guess I really wanted to pick Sangatsu no Lion, but I'm gonna let that one go.
Oh.
Because it started in 2016, and I guess it continued on, and the newest season was like season 2 was in 2017.
There's 2 seasons. Okay.
Yeah, but I have so many picks that were solely 2017 that I'm just gonna go with that. So, definite number 1 pick for me has to be Blend S.
Oh yes,
I hope you guys watched it.
I didn't, but a lot of people have, and I'm like, it's on my list, and I just didn't get around to it.
Blend S is my favorite because it's an anime. It's a moe anime that's about people who aren't actually moe.
Okay.
If you haven't watched it, it's a show about a theme cafe where all the waitresses have different themes. There's like the tsundere girl, and there's the younger sister character girl, and the older sister character girl.
Okay.
And then there's our hero, who is hilarious because she's actually really cute and really nice, but she gets really nervous around people, and she makes these kind of death faces. Like, I'm going to kill you. And so she goes to this cafe, and like they're like, okay, you're our new like sadistic girl character. So she'll like go around, and she's just nervous, and she'll be like, she wants to say like, what would you like? And instead she's like, what do you want? And everyone's like, and it's one of those things where like you think, okay, this is gonna get old really quickly, but it doesn't. And then as it goes on, like she gets better and better. There's like actually some character development about her like getting used to it, and then people are like, no, you have to do it more. People like that. So she actually then like tries to be sadistic, and then she gets like way too much. It's hilarious. The manager is great. Every character in that show is great. The side stories are great. It's just everything is so wonderful about that show. So if you didn't watch it, I really think you should. Again, kind of not really one that's I would recommend to someone who's not already into anime. Not a good gateway one.
That doesn't seem like it is.
Gotcha.
If you're even a little bit into anime already, I think that Blend S is a good show for you.
Yeah, a lot of people are actually cosplaying from the series and stuff. I was like, I caught my eye because I love waitress maid outfits, all that stuff. I mean, so they all have. I guess the Blend S stands for different things in the series. I'm guessing.
Yes, that's right.
Stands for different things.
It's also Well,
I-
there's like S's for sadistic
Yeah.
and sweet and sister. There's, like, the opening song.
I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's also got a sweet opening song. I feel like I'm going to have an episode on opening songs at one point too, because that's something that I think is very important.
opening songs.
Okay. I pulled up a picture from the show. I see. Sweet sadistic smile sister. Gotcha. Ironically,
Yeah,
the
so
girl who's
Glenda's-
listed as Smile has her hand in front of her face.
Well, it's a unique thing. Once you watch it, you'll be like, oh, okay. All right, so Blend S, definitely number one.
I mean, it sounds good.
I'm kind of deciding right now as I'm looking at my list. I think I'm gonna have to go with Masamune-kun no Revenge,
Oh.
The Revenge of Masamune-kun. Did you either of you guys watch
I
it?
downloaded it.
No.
I just didn't get a chance to watch it yet.
Oh,
I'm
terrible.
sorry.
You're the worst.
I'm the worst.
Sam, how about you?
No, I'm sorry. I have very I have not a lot of time to watch things, so I don't really. I've got like certain things I've watched, and then like
That's all right.
I think there's
I
like
understand.
8 shows I watched that were specifically 2017.
That's not bad. I mean, we're busy. I understand that.
Yeah.
So let me just explain to you a little bit then about Masamune-kun no Revenge and why it's amazing. It's a show about a kid that was really fat, and he got bullied for being fat. And so he decides, he like confesses to this girl that he loves. And she's like, no way, pig. What does she call him? Tonkatsu. She calls him pork cutlet.
Aw.
Or tonsoku, pig feet
Oh.
is what she calls him,
Okay.
I think.
Not very
I can't
nice.
remember.
No.
It's not nice what she calls him. She calls him some kind of pig food. But, so he's like heartbroken and he's like, I'm going to get back at her. And he spends like 4 years transforming his body, into this like super, super idol type, 6-pack, handsome man body, and he becomes super smart. He like studies really hard to become super smart because he was not very smart before. And they go to the same high school, and she doesn't recognize him. So he's like, I'm gonna make her fall in love with me, and then I'm gonna turn her down when she asks me to go out. And that's the whole concept of the show, and it's hilarious. The stuff that he does to like try to get her to fall in love with him is just super funny. The character development is excellent. The side characters are great. His whole like calorie counting obsession is hilarious. He's like, oh, I ate a piece of cake. I gotta run for like 5 hours now. It's fantastic. I think I don't want to like talk too much about.
I definitely want to
the
watch
plot
it though. It sounds
because-
hilarious.
Yeah, I think you will really, really like it
yeah, I'll
because
watch
we
it.
have pretty similar taste in things. So I think you really like it.
Awesome.
So the last one for me, this is a really difficult choice because there's 3 left over that are all really good. I think since I already had 2 comedy ones, I'm gonna have to skip Aho Girl, even though it was amazing.
Oh, I heard that was fun.
And I'm gonna have to go with Welcome to the Ballroom because let me tell you what.
I won't.
Welcome to the
oh,
Ballroom
right.
hit me out of nowhere. It was random. They randomly streamed the first episode, on Twitch, and I watched it and I was like, "This is dumb. Why would I watch something about ballroom dancing?" And like 10 minutes in, I was like, "Where can I learn how to ballroom dance?" And like,
Nice.
okay, so I had just kind of recently finished Yuri on Ice when I had watched this, so I was all ready for like, all right, I'm totally ready for a BL show about ballroom dancing. And at first I was like upset because I was like, why aren't these boys liking each other? Why does he like a girl? And then as the show went on, I was like, no, this is wonderful. And the writing is so good. It's like every time there's a new girl, you're like, no, this is the one true pair. No, this is it. No, this is it. Like, you want him to be with everyone. Tataru, the main character, is probably the worst part of the series. He's
interesting.
He's a little irritating
He's
sometimes.
interesting. He's very interesting.
Yeah. He's like kind of a excellent but kind of a terrible dancer. So I think they did an interesting spin on, like, because, you know, when you get shows like this where it's about something, like about some activity, it's either like Prince of Tennis style, where they're amazing at it from the beginning, or you get like Slam Dunk or something like that, or like Naruto, where the main character is terrible at the beginning and has to catch up. So they did something different, where he's like a really talented dancer, but his body can't keep up with what it means to be a good dancer.
Okay.
It was actually kind of similar to the gimmick in a really short run manga that there was a couple years ago called Kurogane.
Okay.
It was a kendo manga, and I actually really liked it, even though the premise was basically stolen from Hikaru no Go. He's like walking down the street, and then he meets a kendo ghost, and she's like, I couldn't teach my kendo to enough people, so I'm gonna live on through you. And it's like, oh, okay, it's Hikaru no Go, but kendo.
Gotcha.
But in that show, the thing about him was he had excellent eyes, so he could see anything. Like, he could see that something was coming, but he had a really bad like reaction time and a really weak body in general, so he'd get tired out really easily. And I think that ultimately led to the series getting canceled after 4 volumes because he was like too weak. They didn't like power him up enough. But anyway,
gotcha.
Same kind of idea. Tataru, like, he can watch people dance and copy it like really, really well. But he's not good at like making his own dancing stuff.
Yeah.
Or he's really bad at listening to directions. So for a while, they realized they're kind of like, why don't you understand? I've explained this to you like 100 times. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm just terrible at dancing. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of good character development throughout the show. There's a couple good dramatic scenes when he finally gets a good partner.
Well, I'm excited to catch up because I'm like episode like 5 or 6ish right now because I'm trying to fly through the series a little bit faster now, and I'm really enjoying what I'm saying. There was a twist or like something that I thought was crazy happened in episode like 3 or 4, and I was like, oh, but then it turns out, and I was like, oh no, but it turns out that's not the picture. I was like, oh, okay, but I did like it. The character reminds me of like, because you know, like every sports anime has like someone who copies techniques, like Kuroko no basketball, whatever. Like I know someone copies techniques, and I was like, oh, it's that again. His eyes are huge. Of course he could see all that. Of course he could catch on.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, he's very expressive.
Yeah. But it was definitely one of those things where like I finished watching it, and then I went over to my wife and I was like, hey, you want to learn how to ballroom dance? And she was like, no. Why? Never mind. I just watched an anime. And, I mean, the same thing, you know, it always happens, right? Like, I watched Yuri on Ice, and I was like, where is the nearest ice skating rink to me? Because I need to do that. I'm fat like Yuri. I can do this.
Yuri on Ice was fantastic. It just made me so happy. Like, you know, because I'm a Fujoshi, you know.
Yeah. Me too, but the boy version. So let's talk about anything that you didn't like. Was Sam or Flora, was there any shows that you did not like from 2017? Well, I mean,
I saw someone, Error Manga Sensei aired last year, right?
Oh
Okay,
yes,
I
yes,
love
it did.
and I hate it at the same time. I hated it with a passion, but I also loved it at the same time. It just made me so mad, but I couldn't stop watching it. Look, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, I loved it. It was cute, but I couldn't stand it because it just. I mean, it was doing all the tropes on purpose. It was in your face about it. But I also.
Yes.
It's a love-hate relationship. And I was telling Steve, I was like, I hated it, but I was like, I loved it though. I couldn't stop watching it though. Couldn't resist.
True.
I was like. Okay.
Well, then let me ask you: did you watch Imoto Sai Ireba Ii? Did you watch As Long as I Have My Younger Sister?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the only
Because that was very similar in a lot of ways, where they were like, these are tropes, and we are going to do them in a very meta way. And it's also about people loving sisters, so...
I mean, I only picked Era manga because I loved Ori no Imoto, like, so much, and I was like, well, let me give this a try, and, I mean, Era manga, it's, like, the animation was really nice. I liked the opening, the ending songs, of course. It's just, I mean, like,
oh, yeah, they were both
some
wonderful.
of the characters are really annoying, but I kind of expect that, you know, because it's based off a light novel, all that crap. So, like, anything based off a light novel, A1 pictures, it's just, you know it's going to be terrible, but you're going to watch it anyway.
Man, Flora is, like, saying all the stuff to make people angry today, I think.
Oh, no, trust me. Other people have the same feelings.
Like,
A lot of people have the same feelings I do. I'm just one person, okay? I'm just one person. I have these feelings, and I cannot. I have so many feelings.
That's okay. You know, your feelings are valuable and worth it. So, Flora's surprise pick is Eromanga Sensei. She loves it and she hates it at the same time.
What I want.
I think that's reasonable. That's how you know, Eromanga Sensei, that was an interesting show in a lot of ways. There were definitely parts that I didn't like about it, but I think I liked it overall. I just think they went all in.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see how the story develops after where the anime ends. Maybe I'll read the novel at some point. Probably not, but we'll see.
I mean, if there's a season 2, I'll probably watch it because, you know, I like to torture myself like that, but I don't know anything about season 2 or anything like that.
Yeah, I feel like they burned through a lot of the light novel stuff to make it like a satisfying ending, maybe, because I don't want to spoil anything, but like they definitely kind of like wrapped it up so like it could be a standalone thing, where for like Imoto Sayuri, they were like at the end they're like, no, we're banking on a season 2, so I hope you liked this. Like, they were very obvious about their wish to continue the anime. But okay, well that's interesting. I mean, definitely top grade waifu in Eromanga Sensei.
Sagiri, I can't pronounce her name. I know she's super adorable, so I can't. I think she's adorable, so I couldn't get past that. It's like I had to watch for her. She's really cute.
Me too. All right. Well, how about you, Sam? Anything that you saw and weren't particularly enamored with?
Well, I mean, in 2017, not really. Like I said, I don't watch a ton of things. There's nothing particularly. The closest thing, because it's not really 2017, but it kind of bled over into it, was Mobile Suit Gundam, the Iron-Blooded Orphans.
You didn't like that one?
So, alright.
Oh.
I don't hate it, but there was a lot of things that annoyed me about it. Okay. I feel like it's one of... Because it's like one of...
Paul is very angry.
I'm planning to watch that next, so don't, you know...
I'm sorry. It's one of those shows where I feel like the bad guys are just better people than the good guys are. A lot of times. Not all of the bad guys. Some of the bad guys are really terrible people. But, like, there's some bad guys that are just, like, cool dudes. But then, like, the good guys do really bad things to them.
Oh.
And it's like, I'm like, I don't know that I want to root for them. Also, the good guys get like really obviously played by the real bad guys. Like, this isn't like a spoiler, really. Like, you can see it coming. Like, you know who the real bad
Right.
guy is.
It's
And like, you're kind of like, shouldn't the guy, like, but they just keep falling for it. And like, they don't know until like the very end that like, oh, we were doing the bad thing this whole time. And then they're like, alright, whatever, I guess we're cool with that though. And I'm like, what? Cause it's like, it's one of those like Code Geass things where they're like, this is the evil empire, so you should hate them. But then like the people in the evil empire are cooler dudes than the guys who are in the rebellion.
That's hilarious.
And you're interesting.
It's like,
well,
oh, all right. I don't know. I mean, it's a little bit different than Code Geass, but it was kind of like a weird thing for me where it was like, I don't know. And there were cool people on the good side too. There were some characters I liked, but then there was other characters I didn't really like so much. I didn't really like the two main guys. I thought they were a little bit of douchebags a lot of times.
Oh.
Plus the one guy is...
I didn't actually get...
Oh, sorry. No.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, just gonna say, like, the main guy is kind of a psychopath, really.
It doesn't kind of make an anime fun, though?
I guess. But I don't really like those guys then. And I'm like, I don't really want to root for you. I don't know.
I think that's fair.
I've noticed that that's not a popular opinion on this show, though, because I've noticed a lot of people seem to really like it. But it's just one of those shows where I'm like, nah, it's not clicking with me. I'm sorry, guys. And I guess we should...
Well, that's interesting.
I guess we should mention for the listeners, I should mention that I am, though, a Super Gundam fanboy, and have watched, like, every Gundam show. I just want to get that clear so it's not like, this is my first Gundam show, guys. What is this?
Is it better than Destiny, though?
Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, probably.
Well, I mean, see, Destiny is like, let's do Gundam Seed again.
Yeah.
But now we've got a really angry guy instead of a really unemotional guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a lot of stuff over. And I felt the overall animation quality was a lot worse.
Yeah,
than in Seed
probably.
as well.
See, Destiny was kind of weird, though, because, like, they continue to try to push Shin Asuka as being the main character,
I hated him
even
so
though he
much.
clearly was not the main character.
Yeah.
Because, like, the show is barely about him. It's about Athrun for, like half the show.
My sister.
So annoying.
But, yeah, let's go with Kira after all. Like,
But it's not even about Shin in the beginning. In the beginning, it's actually about Athrun the whole time.
True.
And then, but like in all like the crossover stuff, they keep trying to act like Shin was the main character, and I'm like, he's not really. Also, he's the bad guy at the end. Like he's like the final boss guy, basically. Like he's the last fight at the end, and then at the end he like has to admit that he was in the wrong the whole time. And then they're like, I guess we're cool now, and I'm like, are we cool though?
True. I just hated that they brought back, like, they were like, oh, what was the guy's name? He was like the blonde guy, the older friend guy.
Mulafago?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like, in the first one, they're like, oh, all right, he's dead. Surprise, he's back at the end.
I loved him, and then when he came back, I was like, you should have stayed dead, I'm sorry.
And then he came back without his memories. And then he's like, oh, but now I remember, oh, I'm dead again. Like,
it's kind of like the lock-on bullshit. As I'm a twin brother, and I'm exactly the same.
Yeah. Double O was lousy with that.
I could stand it. I was like, I loved him, but he should have stayed. I could not stand his twin brother.
There's not, but that's the thing. It's not just lock-on. There was like 12 people who die at the end of that first season who are just magically alive at the beginning of the second season.
Really?
And most of them, they they don't even explain. They just go, oh yeah, they were never dead. And I'm like, wait, what?
Nice.
We watched them blow up.
Good storytelling.
And they're like, no, they're alive. They're just alive. They were always alive. And I'm like, no, oh, whatever.
Like, no, okay.
All right. Well, controversial pick by Sam. But let's move into my pick.
Oh, boy.
My pick is one. I don't really look at the internet a lot about anime stuff.
Okay.
So, I might be talking about something people have talked about forever already. But I did look it up on my anime list one time, and I saw it had like either 10-star reviews or 1-star reviews, and that was it. There was like no middle ground. And I absolutely hated this show. So my show was Anime Gataris. Did you guys watch it?
No, but you kept talking about it, and I meant to watch it. So I guess I shouldn't watch it then.
I hate this show. And I'm going to talk about it now because I have no one to talk about this, and I've like talked the ear off of the people around me. So I'm going to put it out for everyone to hear. This show was terrible. It started out wonderful. It was like the basic club activity show, right? Like, oh, I'm a girl and I'm going to school. Oh, my friend likes light novels. Oh, I met a new girl. She likes anime. Oh, I like anime. And, that was great. They're like, let's start an anime club. Okay, let's do that. We'll get our weird senpais in here. All right, it's great. So I was all excited to have this just like great show about an anime club of like weird friends. And they're like, oh, let's make an anime. And they're showing how hard it is to make an anime and to do all this sound production and stuff like this. And it's like, all right, this is good. And then suddenly they're like, no, that's not what this is anymore. This is a show where we've decided to make it not reality anymore. And it got so random and so, like, it's like they were just trying to go as off the walls they could every show after a certain point. And even before that, I was getting kind of bored of it because they started doing this thing where like every episode was like the student council being like, we're gonna shut down the anime club, and the anime club's like, no, we have a real reason for being here and we contribute to the school. And they're like, anime club. And the next episode they're like, okay, this time we're gonna shut down the anime club. And it goes on for like 5 episodes. And it's like, okay, you guys need to stop now. But then, so I'm going to spoil it because, sorry, but it's terrible and I don't want you to watch it.
Okay.
So basically, at one point, the anime world and the real world blend together. And it turns out one of their senpais was an anime character the whole time. And then they go on and, the anime club saved all the clubs in the school by using anime to solve their problems. They're like, oh, the tennis club? You're not winning? You should be friends harder. And then they're like, oh, okay, friendship. And they win. And they're like getting set on fire and stuff. They're like, oh, the robot club. We're going to make these like jet-powered robots and it's going to be great. And then they do. And you're like, wait a second, what? That's not cool. And then, at the end, like, everyone becomes anime, and the main character is like, but I don't want to be anime. And they're like, why wouldn't you want to be anime? You love anime. And she's like, well, I love my family. And then she unanimates the world. So, yeah. So, I'm not against completely random stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I'm watching a new show this series called Maho Shoujo Ore, which is hilarious. The first episode, they go really hard on the random. Like, she's like, "Oh, you're gonna be late for school. Here, take this." So you're like, "Oh, she's gonna be running with toast in her mouth," but instead she's running with a full plate of pancakes. Like, it's kind of like, what? But Anime Guitaris, I was so angry about, mostly because they set it up as a realistic show in the beginning. And then they were just like, "Nah, the world is anime." I was like, but I actually liked what you were doing at the beginning. Why did you do that? So basically, a lot of people are like, from what I saw, people either really loved that. They're like, "Oh my god, how wacky and funny." Or they're like, "This is stupid. Why did you do that?" And there's no one in the middle.
Gotcha.
So I am definitely in the "this is stupid, why did you do that" camp. I am angry that I watched to the end. I kept on every episode. I was like, no, it's fine. She's going to wake up and it was all going to be a dream. And it's going to be the only time that I woke up and it was all a dream was an acceptable plot twist. Like, I'll be like, okay, I can understand now. But that's not what happened. She just kept going. And that was the real world. The real world turned to anime. And that was it. And it was terrible.
Real world? Was it actually live action? Oh.
No. Well,
how do you know it's like, real world versus anime world?
Because they said it, like, and they started doing stuff. They're like, she was the director because she was the director of the anime that they made in the show, and she's like, "This changes, and I'm changing your character," and then the person would like change, and I mean, if you watch it, it's very, very clear.
Okay.
And then like they kind of like pumped up the anime tropes like times a million. I think also one of the things that really irritated me was it took like they like were like doing the world was anime thing for like 4 episodes. But the main character didn't notice. It's like, oh my god, please just notice that the world's anime already. Like, it's raining inside a room right now. Please, why don't you understand this? And she's just like, how weird. It's raining inside a room. Like, so, yeah, that was not a fun time for me. I really didn't like it.
It sounds like you really wanted to talk about it. Like, you just had to get it out of your...
I did. I've been waiting. This is like half the reason why I decided to start this podcast. I was like, I gotta tell everybody how much I did like Anime Guitaris.
Now everybody knows the secret reason that this podcast was started.
And I wanted to rant about Eromanga Sensei. I mean, like, I talk about it with Steve. Steve doesn't understand my feelings. So I had to talk about it somewhere else.
Gotcha.
Well, here we are. I'm glad you had a chance to vent that out.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think that's about it for today. We ended up going over an hour. I thought we were going to be like a half hour, but I had a great time.
Yeah.
Yep. So thank you so much for listening to our first episode. If you would like to hear our future episodes, you can subscribe to us on Podbean at anikiniki.podbean.com. We will also be on iTunes shortly if that's your thing. If you have any suggestions for future episodes or just want to get in touch, you can contact us on Facebook or Twitter at @AnikiNikiPod or email us at anikiniki@gmail.com. That'll wrap things up. So once again, thank you for listening, and we hope to see you again. Bye.
Bye.